Jai Gurudev, and thank you for joining us today. Today we are going to discuss day 4 of You and the Universe discourse by His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji. So before we begin, let's recap about what Gurudev has said on the first few days. So Gurudev beautifully began by reminding us that there are 36 elements or movements, the cosmic dance, from the gross to the subtlest, culminating in Shiva. He then spoke of the three bodies, the gross, the Sthula Sharira, the subtle or the Sukshma Sharira, and the causal or the Karana Sharira. Correspondingly, these relate to the waking, dreaming, and deep sleep states. In meditation, we consciously enter the causal body, drawing energy directly from consciousness. It is in this realm that healing and transformation truly happen. This triadic understanding reflects the Taittiriya Upanishads, the concept of Panchakosha, the five sheets. Gurudev simplified this ancient wisdom into direct experiential terms. When we meditate, we go beyond the body and mind, cleansing the causal body of accumulated impressions or samskaras. These impressions are seeds of an expert shaping destiny. Hence, through meditation, one not only experiences peace but also purifies karmic tendencies, paving the path toward liberation or moksha. Now, what are these impressions Gurudev mentioned and how do they influence our life and rebirth? Samskaras are subtle imprints left by every experience, emotion, or action. They reside in our subtle body and drive future thoughts, desires, and behaviors. In Vedic philosophy, they are the root cause of rebirth. What we have not completed or transcended manifests again as circumstances or attachment in other lifetime. Now, Gurudev explained that our fears, anxieties, and resistances are not random, they are residues in our second body. When these are dominated by negative energy, life becomes heavy, filled with confusion and misery. When filled with positivity and awareness, one experiences lightness, enthusiasm, and inspiration. Meditation acts like a spiritual detergent, it cleanses these layers. That's why, after deep meditation, people often feel relief from lifelong emotional burdens. They have literally released some scars. Now, Gurudev differentiated between positive, negative, and mixed energies in the subtle body. Could you explain this further? Yes, Gurudev said, if it is all positive, it becomes divine. If all negative, it becomes demonic. If mixed, it is human. The subtle body's energy composition determines the quality of consciousness. Human life is typically a mixture of joy and sorrow, clarity and confusion. Through practices like Sudarshan Kriya, Pranayama, and meditation, we balance these energies, raising our vibration toward the divine. In the Shiva Purana, even Devas and Asuras represent these energetic polarities. A human being's purpose is not to deny the dualities but to transcend them through awareness. Positive vibrations increase stages or the inner brilliance, negative ones cloud the mind with tamas or inertia. Satsang, seva, and mantra recitation all increase the sattvic or the pure frequency of our subtle body. Now, Gurudev mentioned that our second body determines the next birth. How does meditation influence this? Rather, the subtle body carries karmic blueprints across births. When meditation deepens, it dissolves impressions before they manifest as future karma. This is why ancient rishis meditated for long hours to burn prarabdha and sanchit karma in the fire of awareness. Gurudev said that when the second body is full of high energy, the hype of life comes to us. This means opportunities, grace, and enthusiasm naturally flow. Meditation cleanses and refines the second body so that it no longer compels rebirth out of compulsion but allows liberation through wisdom. In a sense, every deep meditation rewires our destiny. Now, what did Gurudev mean by drawing energy from consciousness in meditation? Normally, we draw energy from food, sleep, and social interaction, but meditation connects us directly to the infinite source of consciousness itself. Gurudev said, in meditation, causal body conscious, that means the meditator experiences the substratum of creation from which energy flows effortlessly. Now, the Prashna Upanishad states that prana arises from the self. When one abides in the self awareness, energy replenishes without external input. This is why advanced meditators feel vibrant even with little food or rest. They are plugged into the universal energy circuit. Now, Gurudev discussed attachment and said that when you are attached, you need something. How should we understand this? Attachment or raga arises from a sense of lack. It's a desire to possess or control what we love. Gurudev highlighted that attachment itself is not evil, but when driven by dependency, it leads to suffering. True love is free, expansive, and detached. He beautifully said that when we are too much attached, we stop being demonic. Only when the attachment lessens, this means the more we cling, the more our mind becomes agitated. Through knowledge and meditation, we transform attachment into devotion. Then our relationships become divine without demand or fear. Now, Gurudev spoke about negative attachment to yourself. What does this mean? Jayadav, negative attachment to oneself means self centeredness, constantly revolving around me and mine. It's the ego's subtle trap. We become overprotective of our identity, opinions, or body. This limits consciousness in Vedanta. This is called ahamkara, the sense of I as a doer. Gurudev warned that unless this is recognized, true knowledge never dawns. Through seva and surrender, we loosen this attachment. Then awareness expands to include all beings as our own self, the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Now, Gurudev said that even giving can create karma. Could you explain this paradox? Yes, Jai Gurudev, this is subtle. Even a good action binds if done with expectation. Giving with a motive, even a noble one, creates punya karma, which still keeps one in the cycle of birth. Only action done with total surrender, I am not the doer, liberates. Gurudev said giving also takes a good karma, meaning the moment you give it an identity, I am the giver, you accumulate merit but also ego. However, when giving happens spontaneously from fullness, there is no karma. Meditation and wisdom transform charity or dana into surrender or tyaga. Now, Gurudev emphasized that meditation on knowledge reduces karmic impact. How so? Jayadav, meditation integrated with knowledge works on both energy and intellect. When knowledge settles in awareness, not just as concept but as experience, it breaks the cycle of reactive behavior that produces karma. Gurudev often says meditation burns karma like fire burns cotton. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Gyanagina sarva karmani bhasmat kururte. The fire of knowledge reduces all karma to ashes. Gurudev's teaching is the living application of this verse. Through self awareness, the mind stops storing impressions, thus, karma loses potency. Now, how do mantra vibrations influence the subtle and causal bodies? Gurudev concluded the session by emphasizing mantra shakti. He said, listen to the mantras, they are all positive. Mantras are sonic formulas resonating with the cosmic vibrations. They reorganize the subtle bodies as frequency. Many people report that even without understanding Sanskrit, mantra chanting elevates mood and brings energy. This is because a sound precedes, meaning the Nada Brahma's principle says the universe is sound vibration. When we listen or chant with awareness, it aligns our consciousness with higher frequencies, dispelling negativity and invoking peace. Now, Gurudev mentioned that people can use attachment or intention in both positive and negative ways. What did he mean by that? Gurudev pointed out a profound psychological truth. Intention or sankalpa shapes the quality of attachment. Some people may attach with pure love, wanting the other to evolve or move toward God. Others may attach with possessiveness or manipulation. The same bond can uplift or entangle depending on the bhava behind it. This is why awareness is key. Gurudev said that if your intention is may this person go to God, your attachment becomes sacred. But if it is rooted in control or insecurity, it binds. This shows how karma isn't about the act itself, but the vibration of the mind while doing it. In Art of Living, we train ourselves to purify intentions through meditation, seva, and satsang, so that all attachments transform into blessings rather than bondage. Now, Gurudev cautioned that some people misuse this knowledge. What was his warning about? Gurudev was highlighting how even spiritual understanding can be misused if the ego interferes. Some might try to make someone reduce attachment with wrong intentions to test, manipulate, or emotionally control. He said these people use it in a wrong way also. In Vedic Dharma, misuse of spiritual knowledge is considered a dharma. When one acts from self interest while appearing pious, it strengthens the ego rather than dissolving it. Gurudev's reminder was clear. Spiritual knowledge is not a tool to dominate others, but to liberate oneself from inner bondage. True knowledge humbles, it never hardens. Now, Gurudev said positive results can also bring negative consequences. How should we interpret this paradox? Jagadev, this is an eternal truth of karma. Every good deed creates punya. which brings pleasure but also binds the soul to the cycle of birth and death. Even positive energy, if clung to, creates dependency. Gurudev's wisdom teaches equanimity, not getting entangled in either success or failure. He reminded us not to overanalyze karma but to stay anchored in meditation. The moment you witness experiences without judgment, both positive and negative energies dissolve in awareness. That's why Gurudev often says, don't get stuck with good or bad, go beyond both. It's the same message Lord Krishna gave to Arjuna: perform action with total surrender without attachment to the outcome. Now, what is meant by when you meditate on the knowledge impacts are reduced? Gurudev was distinguishing between meditation with awareness and without awareness. Meditation on knowledge means going inward while reflecting on truth. For instance, I am not the body, not the mind, I am pure consciousness. This dual process of silence and reflection dissolves impressions faster. The Yoga Vasista calls this manana, the internal contemplation of the self, and the intellect becomes still in wisdom. Karmic tendencies lose power to disturb. Gurudev's teaching revives this ancient process, making it practical for modern seekers through guided meditations that blend silence with the subtle knowledge points. Now, Gurudev spoke about the importance of listening to mantras. How does simply listening have an effect? In Vedic tradition, Shravana or deep listening is a sacred act as sound vibrations work beyond intellect. Mantras such as Om Namah Shivaya or Satyam Param Dhimahi harmonize the nervous system and subtle body even if not consciously understood. Gurudev says meditations often include mantras because they bypass the logical mind. He said, listen to the mantras. They are all positive. Listening itself is an act of surrender. It quiets the analytical mind and attunes one to universal rhythms. People report feeling energized or emotionally uplifted even when they don't understand Sanskrit. That is the Nada Brahma principle. Sound is divine. Now, Gurudev said that some feel energy while others feel emotional release. Why are the experiences different in meditation? Gurudev explained that meditation works uniquely for each person depending on their subtle body's composition. Some experience more pranic flow, sensations of energy. Others experience bhava or emotional cleansing or tears. Both are signs of release, not problems. Just as medicines act differently based on one's constitution, meditation purifies where it is most needed. For some, it heals emotional trauma. For others, it revitalizes prana. Gurudev always assures seekers not to compare experiences but to continue the practice with faith. The fruit of meditation is inner stability, not fleeting sensations. Now, Gurudev often connects these insights with a practical life. How can understanding the three bodies help in daily challenges? Knowing the three bodies helps one recognize that not every emotion or problem belongs to the physical level. For instance, anxiety or tiredness may arise from subtle body imbalance, not just external stress. When one meditates, energy realigns naturally in daily life. This awareness brings this identification. You realize this sadness belongs to my subtle body. I am beyond it. This that shift itself brings peace. Gurudev's knowledge bridges ancient metaphysics with modern emotional intelligence. It gives a practical mastery over energy and emotion. Now, how does the concept of the causal body connect with the idea of the soul or the Atman? Either the causal body or the Karan Sharira is the veil closest to the self. It contains the seeds of karma and latent impressions. The Atman is beyond even this. When one transcends the causal body in meditation, pure consciousness alone shines. That is self realization. Gurudev described meditation as entering the causal body consciously. There one touches the silence from which thoughts and feelings arise. Beyond that silence is the self, the eternal, blissful, and untouched. That this is the goal of all yogic paths, to awaken from identification with the bodies to rest in pure being. Now, how do these teachings align with the modern science and psychology? Jagodev science now acknowledges that emotions and thoughts affect a cellular structure. The three bodies can be seen as levels of consciousness: the physical or the neural, emotional or the subtle body, and causal or the unconscious patterns. Meditation harmonizes all three, producing measurable changes in brain waves, immunity, and stress markers. Indeed, quantum physics mirrors Vedic thought. Matter and energy are interconvertible. Observation influences reality. Gurudev's discourse integrates these worlds seamlessly. He translates timeless spiritual truths into experiential science, demonstrating that consciousness is the foundation of both spirituality and physics. Now, finally, what is the central takeaway from Gurudev's Day 4 discourse on you and the universe? The essence is you are not limited to body or mind, you are consciousness itself. The universe and you are not separate. The same intelligence that moves galaxies beats your heart. By purifying the subtle and causal bodies, you dissolve ignorance and rediscover unity with Shiva, the infinite. Gurudev led us from the understanding of structure to three bodies to direct experience through meditation. When we meditate with knowledge, impressions fade, energy rises, and attachment transforms into love. This journey from limited identity to cosmic awareness is the very heart of you and the universe. It's not philosophy, it's a living wisdom, Jai Gurudev.